الرحمن الرحيم Suratul Ma'arij Al-Ma'arij, the Ways of Ascent. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful. A questioner asks about the chastisement to befall the disbelievers. There is none to avert it from Allah, Lord of the Ways of Ascent. To him ascend the angels and the Spirit in a day, the measure of which is 50,000 years. So be patient with a goodly patience. Surely they see it far off, and we see it nigh. The day when the heaven is as molten brass, and the mountains are as wool, and no friend will ask of friend. They are made to see them. The guilty would fain redeem himself from the chastisement of that day by his children, and his wife, and his brother, and his kin that gave him shelter, and all that are in the earth. Then deliver him? By no means. Surely it is a flaming fire, plucking out the extremities. It shall claim him who retreats and turns back, and hordes then withdraws. Surely humanity is created impatient, fretful when evil afflicts him, and niggardly when good befalls him, and stingy when good befalls him, except those who pray, who were constant at their prayer, and in whose wealth there is a known right. For the beggar and the destitute, and those who accept the truth of the day of judgment, and those who are fearful of the chastisement of their Lord. Surely the chastisement of their Lord is not to be felt secure from, and those who restrain their sexual passions, except in the presence of their mates, are whom their right hands possess, for each surely are not to be blamed. The guarding of the private parts. You don't have sexual passions for your servants. That's not what's being said. Hafizun, the guarding of. But he who seeks to go beyond, this, these are the transgressors, and those who are faithful to their trust and their covenants, and those who are upright in their testimonies, and those who keep a guard on their prayer. These are in gardens honored. But what is the matter with those who disbelieve, that they hasten on to thee on the right hand, and on the left in sundry parties? Does every man of them desire to be admitted to the garden of bliss? By no means. We shall have created them for what they know, but nay, I swear by the Lord of the eastern lands and the western lands, and that we are certainly powerful to bring in their place better than them, and we shall not be overcome. So leave them alone to plunge in vain talk and to sport, until they come face to face with that day of theirs which they are promised, the day when they come forth from the graves in haste, as hastening on to a goal. Their eyes cast down disgrace covering them. Such is the day which they are promised. And, the qualitative plural, The day we're talking about is the Judgment Day, as we see on both ends of this chapter. The gender-neutral way of speaking will make clear that because if the men were allowed to do this with the doctors and the attendees and the tailors and stuff like this, then the women would be allowed to do this with the. So in that context, that alone makes it clear. Should make it clearer to a lot of people. It's like, wait a second, no one's claiming the women. Of course they're not, because it doesn't say that for the men either. But humanity, if we work on patience, we can have patience. But we're such a being, if we leave things, our attention span and other things, if we don't keep up prayer, eating right, reading, various other things, we'll become, and I'm sorry about my tiredness of some of this. So my 15th of Ramadan, 1440 dream, the last 2/3 of the night, bright white stars in blue. The stars stayed still, and the blue did not. And the patterns formed by these stars, I guess some of it could have been pareidolia, but I feel like they formed a deliberate pattern, which, had I remembered, I could have taken some lesson from their patterns.